3, 2, 1.
And we are live, Leighton. What's happening, man?
What's going on, man?
You doing
What's
good?
going on? I'm great. Fantastic.
All right.
Ready to go.
Well, guys, welcome to another live YouTube show. We like to do this periodically, and I'm going to tell you how the flavor of these lives go. I use it as an opportunity to coach you up. It's an opportunity to coach you up. Leighton's got a couple questions that he's going to fire off. Let me just turn down the volume here. There we go. Leighton's got a couple of questions he's going to fire off. Of course, I'm here to answer all of your questions, as many of your questions as we can during this live. And we also got a big announcement that we're going to announce in a few minutes. But before we do, I also want to let you know the beautiful thing about these lives are if you want to put your question ahead of everyone else, you're going to use the super chat feature, right? And that's where you donate money. And that money that you donate through the super chat feature, 100% of it, I match. And then I donate your money that you paid for Super Chat and the money that I'm matching to Shriners Children's Hospital, which is a hospital, actually 22 hospitals now across the world that deliver medical services for kids whose families can't afford these medical services. So forever, as long as I'm doing these YouTube lives, we're going to be donating money from the Super Chats to Shriners Children's Hospital. Not a penny of it goes into my pocket. And we do this because, again, we want to serve you. We want to be able to answer your questions. And we also want to be able to help a charity and a cause that I've been donating to now. And we've donated actually several $1 million over the last 12 years. To Shriners. So with that said, Leighton, let's kick it off while we're waiting the questions to load up here in the chat box. Let's kick it off with the first question.
Most definitely. First of all, I want to say it's awesome to see people just coming in, man, and supporting and shouting out where they're from. And saw someone from Australia, South Africa. I saw Canada somewhere in there. So it's super cool to see everybody tuning in from all over the world. It's awesome. First question, Timothy Cortez asks, he says, what motivated or inspired you to pursue your chosen path? Your big quote unquote why, and is it the same now?
Yeah, so actually it is the same now. I've always been allergic to being told what to do. I've had 3 jobs, and I've got fired from all 3 of them. And it wasn't because I wasn't a good employee. It's because I questioned, why are we doing things this way? Here's a better way to do it. And all the jobs, whether I was a bouncer at that gay bar that I worked at, Disneyland, or the bagel store that I worked at. I got fired from all of them because I questioned why we're doing things this way. I came up with better ways that I thought were more effective in doing things. And then beyond that, dude, I couldn't figure out like why a human can tell another human that you got a 15-minute break every 3 hours or 4 hours, and then you get a 30-minute break every 6 hours. Right. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like being told what to do. And seems like all the jobs I had, like if I was a minute late, I would get reprimanded, written up. And I realized very quickly, I don't like being controlled. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like someone kind of threatening financial loss over my head. And so I figured, all right, this might be a sign that I need to become my own boss because I clearly can't work for a boss. And so I said, I'd rather take the risk of being an entrepreneur, beating my own path, potentially starving for a long time, not making ends meet. But if I can just break through, then I become my own man. Sovereignty, right? Which is what we talk about on the show a lot. And so I'm so allergic to being told what to do by others. My friend Mike Rashid says it best. He says, I'm an outlaw. He calls himself an outlaw. And I know typically outlaws are known like in the Wild West as bad guys. But outlaws are also people that live outside the laws that society has created to get people to conform and comply. Right. And so I'm definitely an outlaw in that way, and I live that way because it's got to be on my own terms. Yeah. And that's my big reason why, even now, I fear not having enough money, not having enough financial access to be able to help the charities and causes that I want, to be able to help the schools that I want. When my kids' school, Loving Savior, needed a big giant canopy, we ponied up $90,000 and we paid for it because it's not a public school, it's a private school. The parents didn't have enough money to kick in. Hey, no worries. We'll kick in the $90,000 needed, put up a giant canopy over the playground and the basketball courts, volleyball courts. And to me, that is like the ultimate freedom to be able to do what I want. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and that's my big reason why still.
There we go. So 2-part question on that. Number one, do you feel like is it part of your personality type if someone says that you need to do something, you need to go a certain way, that you do the opposite just to, go against what they're saying.
Bro, to a detriment.
Okay, that's
like,
why.
even if I know that's the right path,
Yeah.
like, because you told me to do it, no, I'm not. I'm going to dig my feet in.
Okay.
And I hate that about myself, but I
Yeah.
just have to fucking dig my feet in.
But you're self-aware, and I asked that question because maybe there's someone watching this, and they're like, I'm just like that too. Like I relate. So do you think that type of person should probably go into entrepreneurship, or is it just depends on the situation?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's one variable that you might want to consider to go into entrepreneurship. Another variable might be if you have this need to make a lot of money like I do to be able to help out charities, churches, schools, families, whatever, right? Like I always feel like I need to be the one to do the thing. It starts and stops with me. I'll never be the guy to cross my arms and look at a problem and go, someone should do something about that.
Right.
I'm that someone. I've put that burden on myself. Therefore, I must be an entrepreneur and make an obscene amount of money to be able to help and support.
Right. Love it, man. All right, let me get to these 2 super chats real quick. I have a couple more questions from people asking from Twitter and Instagram, but let's get to these first. So Zach Hess says, I'm a Shriner, so a personal thank you to you for what you do for the kids. Please explain why men need a brotherhood and women need a sisterhood.
Yes. First of all, Zach, thank you for the donation on that super chat. And of course, man, you're a Shriner. I'm getting goosebumps because when I go to speaking events, there's always, word has gotten out now that I support Shriners over 12 years. And there's always someone in a big audience that will bring their Shriners blanket and give it to me, because Shriners gives every child a blanket. So Zach, shout out to you, man.
That's dope.
And so why do men need a brotherhood and women need a sisterhood? Simple as this. You go back to prehistoric times when we were cavemen, and you look at the caveman. He goes, man, I am hungry, and my wife and my little baby here need food. I need to kill the saber-toothed tiger. Shoot, I can't. I can't kill that giant saber-toothed tiger with just me and my spear. But what I can do is recruit other dudes from my tribe, and we can come up with a plan where the 2 of you distract the saber-toothed tiger, the other 3 of you have a giant net ready on a waiting off a tree canopy, and the other 4 of us are just going to run and spear this fucker. And so it's going to take a tribe of men to take the saber-toothed tiger down so that we could all eat.
Yeah.
And then it's going to take a tribe of men to fight off the enemy from the other tribe, from the other side of the mountain, when they want to come and take our supplies.
Right.
And it's always been that way. And then you come more recent, biblical times. Jesus didn't just cruise around on his own. He had his disciples, right? He had his disciples. They were his messengers. And yeah, one of his disciples did betray him, but Jesus didn't just cruise around on his own. Like, we need a tribe. No one man is an island. We are not lone wolves. We are actually designed to be tribal, to be in a community, to be predators when we hunt, and to be protectors when we want to save as a group. It's not a SWAT person, it's a SWAT team. It's not a SEAL, it's a SEAL team that goes and kills Osama bin Laden. Because 2, 3, 4, 5 men collectively can solve much bigger problems together, can be there for one another, and can support each other. And then in the most recent times, Jack Donovan in his book, Way of Men, which, by the way, all of you should read my homie's book, Jack Donovan, Way of Men. He talks about how gangs, think about this, like, there's gangs, the military, even in prison, they divide up into groups. It's just in our nature. Recent society has, especially since the pandemic, it's really sped up and accelerated. But recently, the opposition, man, big government, big media, does everything they can to separate people from one another, because we are strongest when we're a tribe, when we're a team, when we're unified against the opposition. They don't want us to be unified, so they want to separate us in every way, through religion, through sexual orientation, through gender, through skin color. And so it is our job to say, fuck you, and stay unified. Same with women. Women will always achieve more when they have a sisterhood to work through problems with, to be able to support one another. It was a tribe of women that helped the woman who's having a baby give birth in a safe fashion. You're otherwise screwed on your own. And so without that, man, there's the emotional, mental, physical And a brotherhood or a sisterhood fulfills that. And without it, we are lone wolves, and we are much more susceptible to mental, emotional disorders, as well as unfortunate things like, checking out. Yeah.
Exactly. So what about the person who is looking for their tribe? They understand everything you're saying. They need to find their group. They feel like they're that lion that is walking around kind of beat up, has scars. He doesn't have his tribe. He got kicked out or whatever the case is. Or maybe it's a person that wants to level up themselves, and their group is kind of walking around, just kind of, sitting, not winning like anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about those people? Like, how do they find their tribe or their group of people? Do you try to level up the people you're with currently? Or is it like, hey, you guys got to do it for yourself?
It's always best to try and help the people around you level up, right? What do they say? They say the rising tides raise all ships. However, if I keep trying, and they're just like, man, I'm just going to stay awake late at night, binge watch TV, smoke weed, eat shitty foods, not work out in the morning, be haphazard. It's like after trying a certain amount of times, I'm done, bro. I'm done trying, and now what I'm going to do is just focus on me. And then I'm going to see if there are any communities where people like me exist. So if I'm into running, then I might find a marathon locally. I might find a Spartan race, a mud run. If I'm into lifting weights, I might go join a CrossFit or a gym or a Fit Body Boot Camp or whatever. If I'm into playing chess, I'm very cerebral, I might go find a chess club or something. There's so many organizations, bike riding clubs. Like if I'm into comedy and just expression, I might go join a young comics, new comics group, take an improv class. Like I did a 6-week challenge in an improv class in Santa Monica. I met some awesome humans, man, very different birds,
I bet.
And it was so neat meeting them and experiencing them and then realizing that, wow, here I think I'm good at a lot of things I do, but they are really talented in expressing themselves, and I wanted that skill set. So I say that because the groups exist. You have to actively seek them out, sign up for it, introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Bedros, and I'm a lion that's walking around on my own right now, but I've identified you as similar lions that have the same battle scars and the same desires to level up. And I just want to know if I could join the group.
Right.
And when you do that, you feel like, holy crap, now we're all cut from the same cloth. Like, I always say, like, this entire building is full of misfits. Like, we're all weirdos that didn't quite fit in, but then when you come into this building, like, we want you to fly your freak flag. We want your weirdness fits in with all the other weirdos. Right. And all of a sudden, we're like, oh, man, there's others like me who are just really highly driven, that are very different in the way they approach things. Most of us are very introverted in this building, but we know how to turn on the extrovert. Like, right in this group, in this building, we have our own tribe.
There we go. Love it. Alpha Slice sends in a super chat. He says, no question, just sending you some love and energy, brother, from another immigrant. You rock.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate the donation, man. Shriners is going to love that, and I'm going to match it.
Awesome. And then free, just the word free. Okay. Appreciate all that you do. I just graduated with my master's, full ride scholarship, accomplishing goals, staying lean, saving and investing. However, I still feel behind at 30. Thoughts? ? Thank you.
And okay, sounds like he's one of us. In other words, type A, tightly wound, high speed. And so all of my coaching clients, a lot of the team members in this building were type A, tightly wound, high speed. And the type A, tightly wound, high speed human is always going to feel behind, is always going to feel like there's more to do, is always going to feel like they didn't do enough. I'm cut from that cloth, and I make an obscene amount of money. I've made a lot of impact in life. I'm 48 years old. I feel like I've got another 50 years ahead of me still. And I feel like I'm still behind. There's more I could be doing. There's greater challenges that I could do. There's more people I can inspire. There's more money I can donate. That is a good trait to have, but you have to understand that you're cut from a certain cloth, and it's not, you're never going to be satisfied. Our friend Ed Milet calls that being blissfully dissatisfied. I'm happy with where I am in life. Like reading what he said, full ride scholarship, accomplishing goals, he's staying lean, he's saving money, he's investing. So he's doing a lot of great things. Like should be, he's blissful, but always dissatisfied. And that's because you're a type A high-speed human that's going to do a lot of good for humanity. But the conundrum, my friend, that you're going to deal with is that you're always going to feel like you're not doing enough and you're falling behind, but really you're miles ahead of everyone else around you.
Yeah. That's
awesome, a good thing.
Man.
It's a good thing.
I was going to say it's a good thing to feel that.
Yeah.
For sure. Robert, I'm sorry, brother. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but Robert sends in a super chat. He didn't have a question or anything. I just think he's just supporting the work, so we appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Right on. Thank you, Robert.
And then we have a shot Avak. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, brother, but he sends in a super chat and he says, can you tell me more about your one-on-one coaching? How much time do you spend with them per month, per session, et cetera? Also, how often do you eat per day? Macros, et cetera. Thank you for your hard work in making this world a better place. He needs a game plan. What's the game plan, B? We got to help him out.
First off, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Secondly, tell you about my one-on-one coaching program. So it's the Domination Year Coaching Program. If you go to bedroskeuilian.com, you'll find it there. 12 months of working one-on-one together, getting you 3 to 5 years of very focused results. That's what the Domination Year is. We meet together in person here at HQ for a half-day coaching session at month number 1. We meet together again for a half-day coaching session in person, one-on-one, at month number 2, upstairs in our war room. And then every month of the 12 months, we do a one-on-one coaching call. 30-minute one-on-one coaching call, which is all about action and accountability. So those one-on-one half-day meetings are all about game planning the next 6 months to get 12 to 24 months of results. The monthly coaching calls are action and accountability to help you, support you, clear out the bottlenecks, and exploit the opportunities to help you get to the goal that we planned during your half day. And so it is outcome focused. I'm not a woo-woo type of person. I want you to make more money. I want you to have higher profits. I want you to have time freedom. I want you to build a team. I want you to build your leadership muscles, and that will create sovereignty, and that's what I teach. If it's about I want to feel better for myself and give you $100,000, I'm not the coach for that. There's other coaches for that. In terms of what do I eat in terms of macros, I fast until 12 noon. So when I wake up, I don't need anything other than my water. I used to have protein shakes in the morning, but lately I've started fasting in the morning until 12 noon. So I'll get my 9 a.m. workout in. And then after that, it's a 60-gram protein shake at 12 noon. Then I'll have a chicken Caesar salad with double chicken, no croutons, dressing on the side. And then I'll have another 40-gram protein shake. And then when I get home, I'll have dinner that's typically 50, 60 grams of protein and also gives me about 75 to 100 grams of carbs. So I carb load at night, which then makes me strong in the morning since I'm fasted. That's what I found works for me at 48. That's a different diet than I had at 38. So I keep my carbs low. I keep the fat intake relatively high. I'm probably taking about 75 to 80 grams of fat a day. Protein hovers around 200 to 225 grams a day, and it comes from 2 protein shakes and 2 actual meals. That's what works for me, and I do that when I travel, and I do that here at home. And I also drink 30 ounces of water first thing in the morning, and then I make sure I get 126 ounces of water, which is a gallon of water, throughout the day. And of course, 2 Truline wellness shots a day. 1 in the morning with my 30 ounces of water, 1 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And those wellness shots are full of ginger, turmeric, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and a lot of the electrolytes that your body needs. So it's anti-inflammatory, it helps boost your immune system, and of course, it keeps you hydrated. So I feel like you teed me up for a commercial for my coaching program and for my supplement company. For the record, I don't know this man, but I appreciate you teeing that up.
Right on. And listen, I wanna ask this because the fact that you were able to name off down to a T, like every detail of exactly what you take, what's in it, it's a routine. Every single day, you know exactly what's going to happen. How important is it to eat? And actually, not even just nutrition, but just in life, how important is it to just stick to a routine, a daily routine that you do every single day to be able to get to your goals?
Huge. I think, they say like compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. If there was a 9th wonder of the world, it's consistency. Consistency creates compounding factor. Anyone can be successful for a period of time. In 90 days, you can get lean and jacked and tight. But then if you don't have that consistency for decades, it's the decades where I've built an empire and generational wealth. Mm-hmm. It's the decades that I've built so much muscle memory. This 2 weeks ago, I tore my tricep. I'm still lean. I'm still tight. I still have abs. And it's because I find ways to work around my torn tricep until I get it reattached. I don't use any excuse. My morning routine doesn't change when I'm traveling, when I'm overseas, when I'm in the country. Doesn't matter where I am. I am doing the same morning routine, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, have my 30 ounces of water, 3 gratitude text messages. That consistency compounded over time creates exponential results in anything. And I think if I can magically wave a wand on this audience and say, man, if there's one thing I want you to do, it is to get that disciplined with your consistency, and it will compound your life.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. By the way, before I get to this next question, if you guys could do us a favor, if you're in here, we have 510 people watching, only 153 likes, man. Get the likes up. Come on, we got to get the likes up. Send this to your boy or whoever else you listen to. I know that, listen, I got to say this because a lot of people I talk to, I don't know if it's just because they know that I know you, or, you know, you're like, not even just in my algorithm for Instagram and social media, but just in life. I feel like I hear people talking about you, and they're in groups. So I know they're not by themselves. So if you watch Bedros and you know he's live, send it to your boy, send the link over. Let's get some more people in here. He's dropping some serious games. So.
That's right, guys. We'd appreciate you guys. Again, let us know where you're from here in the super chats in the box. And then, of course, share this right now. This is the only way we're going to be able to change the course of humanity and maintain our freedom in this great country, the United States, and worldwide, is if we share the message, right? So I appreciate you saying that, Leighton.
There we go.
By the way, huge shout out to Vegan Black Unicorn. There was like a €5 donation. Thank you so much. That's going right to Shriners, and I'm going to double that. And she asks, how much sleep do you think women and men need per night? I read that women need to sleep longer. Your opinion? I don't know how much sleep women need different than men. I've always read and understood that we need 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep. I didn't know there was a difference between men and women. If there are, I would imagine that when a woman is going through her monthly menstrual cycle, I know that's pretty taxing on the body. Just like, I suppose, when I'm under the weather, I realize I need more sleep. If you're a woman, and I'm not a doctor here, guys, but I play one on TV, and also on my OnlyFans. That's so stupid. I don't have an OnlyFans, but I should create an OnlyFans. I got amazing feet, and I know there's a lot of freaks out there that would want to see my beautiful straight toes and my soft skin on my feet.
You triple these super chats.
That's
Easy.
right. That's
Real
right.
Quick, 5 minutes.
Yeah, man, Shriners would be loaded with my OnlyFans money. But anyway, vegan black queen or unicorn. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm assuming, and to me, what I found after 48 years of experience where sleep is concerned, I'll take 6 hours of restful sleep over 8.5 hours where I've tossed and turned and wasn't able to sleep. Yeah. But 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep consistently. And here's another thing I've learned, again, in my time, and then this was confirmed by Sean Stevenson, who's a scientist, and he wrote the book Sleep Smarter. Sean Stevenson, and the book is called Sleep Smarter. Sean talks about your circadian rhythm, and he talks about sleeping at the same time every day, waking up at the same time. So if you're going to get only 7 hours of sleep or only 6.5, you're better off sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time, than getting 8 hours of sleep every night, but sleeping early one night and late the next night because your circadian rhythm is off.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Mark, he says, Mark from Atlanta, how do you manage your anger? How do you change your mindset when you feel that anger is coming on? I've been having this issue for a very long time. It's been detrimental to my relationships.
Yeah, so anger is, once I realized that anger is literally giving control to somebody else, I was like, that's never going to happen again. Never going to happen again, because we started this off by saying, I don't like people having control over me. I don't like people telling me what to do.
So what do you mean by that, giving them control?
Well, if someone or something angers you, that means whatever they did, you gave them power. You gave them the power to control your emotions, right? And so you may sit here and start calling me all these names right now out of the blue. And I'd be like, what the hell, man? We've known each other for years. Like, I thought we're chums, we're friends, we're buds. I could get angry and get upset. Or I can go, you know what? Maybe Leighton had a bad morning. Maybe Leighton doesn't know what he's saying. Maybe he's having an epileptic seizure. Maybe he's having a stroke. Maybe he's going to regret this at some point. But what he's not going to do is manipulate my emotions. And so I'm still going to be calm and cool. I could walk away. I could certainly try and level with you in a calm way, but I'm not going to react. I'm always going to respond. And that's the difference. When you allow someone or something to control your emotions, you are giving them power and you are now reacting. I want to maintain control and power and respond. And so when I figured that piece out, it changed my life. It's easier said than done because you really need a lot of stoicism, personal discipline to be able to get there. And so it's easier now at 48 than it was at 38, than it was at 28. But if I can go back to 28 knowing what I know now and what I teach you guys throughout my different episodes, you guys in your 20s should get there easily. I think you're 27 now. Mm-hmm. You've damn near mastered it. Like, I can't imagine what would have to piss you off unless someone's like attacking, physically attacking you, your family, your mom, or someone you love. Like, you just maintain emotional discipline. And it's because you've done the work. It wasn't by accident. And so it is possible for someone in their 20s to get there, but you've got to do the work. Without the work, the outcome is unachievable.
I also think you have to go through things to even be able to get there in the first place. Like you said, it's easier now at the age that you are because you've been through certain things. You understand that you'll never give that power to somebody. That means you had to go through something, that you had to experience something to get there. Same with me. I've never been a hothead per se, but there were certain things that would just automatically trigger me. So I guess a hothead in certain areas. And I learned that I didn't want to be that person. I saw on the other side, what that could do to somebody and being in trouble and getting expelled and things like that. I was like, it's not the way I want to move around. So anyways, I think you have to go through certain things sometimes. You have to bump your head, otherwise you're not going to grow. So
yeah, and that dude who left that comment, and I appreciate that question. Sooner or later, like I remember a time on the 5 freeway when I was probably 19 years old, some car was pissing me off and I cut in front of them and I slammed my brakes. They rear-ended me. Little did I know there was 4 dudes in it and they knocked me out. And I was laid unconscious on the side of the highway. I woke up in the back of the ambulance.
No
and
way.
So, yeah, true story. And so I was a hothead.
Yeah.
So what? So they cut me off. So they honked at me. So they gave me the finger. I don't even know what it was, but it set me off so bad that I sped up, cut in front of them, and slammed the brakes. And thinking like, all right, then we're going to get out of the car and fight. Well, 4-on-1, I got my ass handed to me. And so when you get humbled enough, you realize, all right, is this really worth it? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably not.
No, definitely not, man. That's crazy. See, do you have stories for days, man? I can't wait until...
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I was going to say... All right, sorry, I'm trying to catch up. We got a lot of super chats loading up. So after Mark...
Holy cow. Snej.
I was going to say, I know we're trying to get through all of them. Sorry, let me catch up. So
Snej, thank you so much for that money. $49.99.
We appreciate it.
Like that. Right to Shriners. Doubled and right to Shriners. Thank you, Snej. By the way, all of you should go and follow Snej. She's one of my coaching clients, an awesome human being, and owns a gym out here in Brea, California, Osletics. An amazing gym. Amazing gym.
There we go. So your boy, Mr. Botticelli, in the chat.
Oh, Botticelli, crazy.
Shout out. He says, no questions, brother. Just happy to be in the tribe, working hard also. What's up, Layden? What's good, brother? How you doing? Good,
Did you see the tattoo he got?
No, I didn't see the tattoo.
He
What's
got the Masogi tattoo. Botticelli, if you can, yeah, I can't find his thing right now, but Botticelli, if you can let us know in the comment here, because it was a close-up. It was the whole red Masogi face. It looked like a forearm, but could have been his butt cheek or his thigh. I don't know. Bada crazy is crazy. But he got the Masogi tattoo, and he said he's saving his hand for when he graduates the project.
That's so fire, man. That's so crazy. That's awesome.
Love that guy.
All right, we got Chase. Sends in a super chat. He said, all of the books you recommend have made a huge difference in my life. The marathon changed my life as well. I've shared with, he says he shared with you. How do you find it best to keep discipline for things you know will take years to get results?
Yeah, so how do you find, first of all, let's not brush over this. Chase, congratulations. How funny that you just did what I said, which is what I do with my coaching clients. You just pay me, and then you do what I say, and then you get the outcome. You said you read the books, and all those books, I think it was like 8 or 9 books that I recommended probably 5 episodes ago. You guys can go find it on the podcast or the BK show here on YouTube. He read the books, got amazing outcome and results. I put out the free marathon challenge, the training program, the nutrition guide. He downloaded it, he did the marathon, got amazing results. So how do you maintain discipline for something that's going to, where the results are going to come a long time from now? You keep doing these 6-week challenges. So mine didn't stop at just a marathon challenge. Then it was rock climbing challenge for 6 weeks. And then it was guitar lessons. And then it was salsa dancing. And then it was improv. And then it was jujitsu. And then it was MMA with Aaron Weatherspoon. All not in that order, but the order's different. But as you keep doing these different 6-week challenges and you go to every challenge, it makes you uncomfortable and it hurts and it's awkward and it's embarrassing and you look like a a goofball trying to dance salsa when you're 230 pounds of awesomeness. Guess what happens next? You do develop discipline in these other categories of life that you could apply to this area of life, whether it's marriage or business. That's going to take a long time.
Right.
And that same discipline bleeds over. And that's the beautiful thing about discipline and consistency. Consistency and discipline in one area can bleed over into the other. As long as you keep practicing it on the short term,
Right.
it will become a long-term habit.
Right. There we go. There we go. All right. Ismail Hernandez sends a super chat. He says, "Thank you for everything. 8 months ago, I lost my whole relationship due to infidelity, and I have 2 kids, and I'm 24, but you helped me a lot, mental state-wise, helping me to see in a partner, assuming maybe see some things in himself, and then also what to look for in a future partner. Any advice to let go and forgive?"
Yes, yeah, Ishmael. So what I want you to do is, and all of you should do this after this live, you're going to go to Google and you're going to Google emotional vibrational chart, and you're going to see a pyramid that is color coded, and you're going to see that pyramid. At the very bottom of that pyramid, it'll say guilt and shame, which is probably what Ishmael's feeling, guilt and shame for what he did. Guilt and shame are the lowest vibrational frequency that a human emits, puts out. In the middle of that vibrational chart, you'll see acceptance. So guilt and shame is like its vibrational frequency 70. Acceptance, halfway up the chart, is 400 vibrational. We want to be high vibrational frequency. And so, brother, if you don't plan on doing this again, if you don't plan on being a shitbag again, then it's very simple. You accept what you did wrong, you accept the consequences, and you move away from the low vibrational frequency of guilt and shame, and you accept that you did that, and you agree that you're going to become the 2.0 better version of yourself. And just by accepting, you raise your vibrational frequency. And then from there, you work your way up to self-actualization, to self-improvement, to self-mastery, which is at the tip of that vibrational frequency chart.
Awesome. Love it.
If we just sit in guilt and shame and wallow, we're not doing ourselves or our kids, in his case, or anyone who depends on us any good. You know what I mean? So we have to move away from guilt and shame and accept the consequences and then move on.
Right, exactly. So it kind of goes back to the other question too. We got to catch up on the super chats, but how important is it for, number one, for people to forgive themselves, and then also to forgive in the sense of not holding grudges? Because I also believe that this is something that holds a lot of people back. You know, they've been wronged, they've been hurt, whether it was intentional or not from the other person. They hold on to it and they allow it to kind of poison themselves, but they still just can't. When that person even just walks by, it just bothers them. You know, how are they able to take the steps to get past that?
Again, I think it takes a high level of maturity, right? This is why I say, like, read books on stoicism, read books on emotional discipline, because when you can manage your emotions, control your emotions, dial in your emotional discipline, when you can understand what stoicism is, that you are the absolute manifestation factor in your life, like no one else is. And so if somebody wronged me, again, this goes back to giving them control. If every time they walk by me, or someone talks about them, or I think of them, I get all worked up because they wronged me, they still have control over me.
Yeah.
I'm still giving them power. And so Stoicism tells us that I am the master of my emotions. Stoicism tells us that I can separate my feelings from the man that I am. And so you have to be able to separate emotions, have emotional discipline, and say, you know what, that person wronged me, that person offended me, that person hurt my feelings, that person betrayed me. But I can't let that hurt me, influence me, impact me, because then my impact on the world is stifled. My impact on my family, my ability to make money is stifled, and I can't allow that. And so with that, you have to let go. You have to forgive, and you have to forget. And you also have to say that that person's probably fucked up. I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. When I say forgive and forget, that doesn't mean go hang out with them.
Right.
There's plenty of people in my life that I've forgiven and that I've forgotten and moved on. And when I changed my number recently, they never got that text that says, hey, bro, here's my new number. It's just simple as that. And when they reach out to me, I just don't go back.
There we go.
Excuse me, I think you see
Oh, he says, thank you, Bedros, but she cheated on me.
Oh,
So Ishmael, sorry. You were in a shitbag. She was.
Wrong.
What
My
she
bad,
did
player.
is really fucking shitty. And guess what? That's on her, man. That is on her, not a reflection of who you are. She probably has some demons. And you were on the receiving end of her stupidity. And so, again, forgive, forget. Since you guys have kids together, you're going to have to keep a civil relationship. But I certainly wouldn't show any love to her, and I certainly wouldn't go back to her.
Definitely.
Ed, what were you saying?
That was
Oh, okay.
I appreciate the
Got
correction.
it.
My bad. I read
Got
that
it.
wrong. I must have read that wrong.
Yeah, no worries.
Apologize on
Hey,
that.
but the rest of you, if you've been a shitbag, don't be a shitbag anymore.
Exactly. There you go. It was on purpose. All right. So
Said by someone who's been a shitbag in many categories
we've
of life.
all been there,
Yeah.
man. We've all been there. Accountability is the side we need to lean on for sure. Alex, I think is how you pronounce this person's name, says, your advice helped me to move to the next level. Any advice for a man of letters working on ancient languages and manuscripts? You are a great inspiration, Bedros.
Oh my God. Do you understand the question?
I don't know. He says, so any advice for a man of letters working on ancient languages and manuscripts? I mean, I think
Wow.
the answer would always be to go back to your work ethic, and whatever
Yeah.
skill it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, whatever it is you're working on, and if you're working on ancient languages and script, wow. I mean, this is like, he's doing something that history is going to access for decades and generations to come. Understand that your work is very meaningful work, just like all of our works are meaningful work. Like everything we do, like the trash man, when they come and pick up the trash, like several years ago here in Chino Hills, the trash, waste management, they went on a strike. Very quickly, I realized how meaningful their work is because our trash cans were overflowing. Fucking
Yeah.
raccoons were coming and eating all that shit.
Yep.
There was a mess in my driveway everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So even the trash man has meaningful work. And you have to find the meaning in your work so that you can continue to go. Doesn't mean that it's going to be meaningful to everybody. But all of you here think that I do meaningful work, which is why we're here. And so, but there's plenty of people out there that don't really give a shit about what I do. And so that's okay too. I'm just going to be speaking to the people that really see the meaning in my work.
Right, 100%. All right, Alexander, he didn't have a question or anything. It looks like he just sent $50. So thank you, Alexander. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Alexander, man. You're the man.
Shout out to him. And so I want to ask you this before we continue. I want to ask my own question. I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning, actually. We're sending voice messages back and forth. He was telling me about some things he was going through. And, his attitude was more so, life is just hard. It feels like the universe is just coming down on me. And I basically responded. I was like, dude, you got to lean into accountability, man. Like, I haven't once heard you say that you didn't get that job at Tesla or whatever other place you're applying because of something that you did or maybe that you didn't do. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important for both, right, men and women to keep themselves accountable. But obviously, we are men, and a lot of your content is serving men. And I think it's particularly important for men to hold themselves accountable and say, hey, maybe I didn't get that gig because I didn't do something, or maybe I didn't show up, I didn't come correct, I could have done something more, or whatever. Or maybe you just didn't get it because there's someone else who was better qualified. Right. But what would you say to that person if they're coming to you, with that kind of attitude? Like, how do they change that?
Well, you keep moving forward. As a man, our only job is to keep moving forward on our mission. Every man needs a purpose, a mission, and a team. And this comes from my good friend, Will Brenham, who's a retired Navy SEAL. And in fact, when he left the SEAL teams, he thought that, all right, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to be successul, and then realized how difficult business is. And he was like, man, being a Navy SEAL was easier than starting a business, right? And so he's a great dude. And I go, what happened? He goes, I quickly fell into like a depression, and I was in a funk, and I was in a position where I just felt like I no longer had a mission, I no longer had purpose, and I no longer had a team. That is, by the way, whether you're a Navy SEAL, an entrepreneur, an employee, if you're a man, if you have a cock hanging between your legs, you need a purpose, mission, and a team. I'd argue to say that most women need the same thing. The difference is that women have built-in purpose because your body, at some point, your DNA is like, you should have a baby. Or when you do have a baby, you have a built-in mission and purpose. Like that baby, that human came from you. You gave birth to it, something that no man can do. I know Joe Biden and his crew says that men can have babies now, but you can't. You can't. And so women have built-in purpose. Men don't. So we must always be chasing our purpose, mission, and a team. So that leads to the next thing. Doesn't mean that just because you're chasing it or looking for it, you're going to find it right away. Because life comes to us in winning seasons and losing seasons. I had been winning all the way up to March 16th, 2020. Like, I had a big winning streak for about 3-4 years. I had some physical injuries from lifting weights, etc., but business-wise, family-wise, everything-wise, I was winning. And then March 16th, 2020 came, the pandemic. And y'all know that the pandemic massively impacted gyms and restaurants in a very bad way. Fit Body Bootcamp lost 218 franchise locations in the year of 2020.
It's crazy.
We didn't bring on board any new locations in that time. Well, we brought on 6. That's nothing. To bring on 6 new locations in 1 year is nothing. We typically bring on 6 to 9 new locations per month. And so I found myself in a losing season. And it was 2020 and half of 2021, and then I found myself getting slowly back into a winning season. I've lived long enough where I know that life does come to me with winning seasons and losing seasons. And so now I've been in an awesome winning season. We are having record-breaking months and quarters here at Fit Body Bootcamp, selling more franchise locations than ever before. More people are opening Fit Body franchises than ever before. They're passionate about fitness. They're passionate about making money. They want to align with me, and what a great way to do it, right? Well, cool. And everything up until 2 weeks ago was going great. And then me and Andrew my son had a great chest workout. And then we put on the boxing gloves to spar. And then bam, our punches collided and my tricep tore right off the bone, the tendon, and it retracted 8 millimeters up. Now I'm in a bit of a losing season in life in my health and fitness category, but that's okay. I'm working around it. Is it fucking with my head a little bit? Yes, because I want to do heavy shoulder presses. I want to do big explosive movements like burpees, but I can't right now. But I am working around it. But I realize, again, I've lived long enough where I'm not owed anything. Your friend there is not owed anything. I'm going to keep chasing my mission, purpose, and do it with my team, right? But sometimes it'll take longer. Some like to say it's God's will. We're on God's timeline. You're on the universe's timeline. But understand that the life comes to us in winning seasons and losing seasons. And you might be in a losing season. If you keep holding yourself accountable and moving forward, you will expedite the winning season that's guaranteed to come.
Right,
and when you're in a winning season, know that there's a losing season somewhere around the corner, because that is life.
Exactly.
Only dead people have consistent lives.
That's right. That's right. All right. Tom Hawk, I almost read Tony Hawk. Tom Hawk, he says, love the podcast, Bedros. I want to launch online courses teaching cinematic music. I write music professionally, but fear judgment/negativity from others in my industry who look down on online courses. Any advice? Yeah, man, I have very important advice. First of all, fuck everybody in your industry who's going to look down on you. That's just the first thing you have to look at. Number two, if you really feel this is your calling, you're meant to do this, the creator, the higher power, the universe, God, Allah, whoever you believe in has bestowed this on you, then you are letting the creator down. Do you want to let down some goofball coworkers, or do you want to let down yourself and your creator and your spouse if you told your spouse that this is what I'm meant to do? I do not want to let down my creator, myself, or the people that I love because some people in the peripheral are going to look down on me, judge me, criticize me. Fuck them. That's thing number one. Thing number two is there's people out there who are looking for your course, who want to learn to become cinematic music writers and don't know how. And every day, they are looking for a solution. They are depressed and sad that they don't have an answer. You've got the solution, and the most selfish thing you can do is not put it out because of fear of judgment. Right. And so with that, you have to move forward, even with the notion that you will be judged. And you will be. Remember, there's sites dedicated to Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and Jesus hating on those three people. And they were pretty flawless people. Right. And so if Gandhi, Jesus, Mother Teresa, and other great humans of history have dedicated sites where people hate on them and talk shit on them, what absolves you from that? It doesn't. That is the path to success. That's a fact. All right. Boomer Fitness writes, keep bringing the thunder. Look forward to seeing you open for The Rock someday.
I love that. So that's my friend Brian. I've known him for over 10 years. He's out there in the Washington state area. Thank you, Brian. I will one day hopefully be opening up for The Rock. Not for any other reason other than I want to be able to impact our military men and women. And I know The Rock goes out there overseas and speaks to our military men and women. And hey, he started following me on Instagram, right? So, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. So we're one step closer. We're Instagram buddies, you could say.
There we go. All right, Grant Keller writes, I'm 22 and started listening to you in December at a low point in my life. I'm now the highest insurance producer in my area for my company, and my confidence has never been so high. Thank you, Bedros.
Fucking A, Grant. Good for you, man. First off, thank you for the donation. I'm going to match it, and we're going to donate it to Shriners Children's Hospital. Secondly, again, a walking testament. He was at the lowest point in his life in December when he started to listen to my show. And then now he says he's the highest insurance producer in his area for the company that he works for, and his confidence has never been higher. Is that an accident? So December, so we are in June right now, so that's what, 7 months ago, right? 7 short months, he went from the lowest point in his life to the highest point in his life. He went from a losing season to a winning season. And make no mistake about it, Grant, there is a losing season coming around the corner. It could be months away, it could be years away. But what you know now through this life experience is that there was a formula to get out of the shit that you were sitting in that low point. And odds are, if you listen to my show, which you said you do, you started working out, you started focusing on making money, you started being kind to others, you started probably sending out gratitude text messages, getting consistent sleep, not isolating and insulating yourself, but being around other like-minded people, reading those books that we talked about. Like, it is a formula. If we're gonna bake cake, we're gonna go to BettyCrocker.com, take her fucking recipe, buy the ingredients, measure them out exactly, and then bake a delicious cake. If we decide that, well, you know, I like Betty Crocker's cakes, and I'm going to buy the ingredients, but I'm going to replace the flour with sand, because I think sand's going to work out better, or I just decided to because I think I know better, you're not going to have fucking cake, and you're going to go, see, Betty Crocker's recipe didn't work. And so if you listen to my shit, but you don't take action on it, you won't get results. If you listen to my shit, but you don't do it exactly like I want you to, and I ask you to do it, you're not going to get the results. Grant is a living testament, and good for you, bro. I appreciate you. By the way, man, we've got a huge announcement to make. Holy fuck, I forgot.
Let's get into it.
All right, so Grant, by the way, and all of you should be coming out to Bedros Keuilian Live September 8th and 9th, and we just launched 48 minutes ago. The website went live. Go to bedroskeuilian.com/live. bedroskeuilian.com/live, and you guys are going to be the first to register at the lowest possible price, because in 20 some odd hours the price goes up, and then in 4 weeks again the price goes up again for Bedros Keuilian Live. It's a 2-day event out here in Costa Mesa, California. Don't make any stupid excuses like, well, if it was in my state I would come, if it was in my city I would come, I have to babysit my dog, I've got something going on. Just cancel whatever you have, get on an airplane and fly out to Costa Mesa, California. So go to bedroskeuilian.com/live, because I've told you guys that proximity is powerful, and we're going to spend 2 days together in person. 800 to 1,000 attendees is what I'm expecting. I'm bringing some amazing speakers on stage. Retired Navy SEAL, Purple Heart recipient, and New York Times bestselling author Jason Redman. Our dear friend Mike Rashid, pro boxer, amazing entrepreneur, and great leader in the masculinity sphere. Bryce Henson, the CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp and my business partner. Like, you want to talk about leading and managing teams that make big bucks, hundreds of millions of dollars? Like, Bryce is going to teach how we scale our companies, how we grow. Steve Eckhart, one of my co-founders for the project and the angry Marine instructor who runs the project. He's also a great life coach and an amazing entrepreneur. And we've got all these amazing people and way more. Dan Fleischman, yep. He's my business partner in the Black Site Ranch that we bought together in Temecula. He's an angel investor in like dozens of companies. He's the youngest entrepreneur to take a business public on the stock market. He trademarked some name when he was 19 years old and then sold it for $7 million. The dude is a phenomenal entrepreneur. And again, he's going to share his strategies on how to grow your personal brand on Instagram, YouTube, podcast, Facebook. Like, he's massive on using social media platforms just like I am. And then, of course, Craig Ballantyne, a good friend of mine, a business partner. He's the most disciplined man on the planet. He's going to talk about life structure, your morning routine, and how to organize your day to set yourself up to win. And then I'm going to be spending the most amount of time on stage, literally coaching you guys on business, self-mastery, becoming your 2.0 self, marketing, sales, like all of the things that we touch on in 20 to 25 minute episodes here on the Bedros Keuilian Show. We're going to do a 2-day deep dive, like in person. And then I want you guys to connect and network. Earlier we were talking about, like, how do you find your tribe? How do you find the people to belong to? How do you find the like-minded people, the eagles to soar with? Like, this is it. You get off the interwebs and you get on a plane and you come to Bedros Keuilian Live on September 8th and 9th in Costa Mesa, California. And I want you guys to join us. We got 3 levels of tickets. The lowest level of tickets is like $490 or something. And I'm telling you, you would never get access to people like this, from Navy SEALs to Marines to top entrepreneurs to some of the greatest, like, New York Times bestselling authors, entrepreneurs, some of the best thought leaders. And I've got a panel coming of the most high-performing humans you've ever met, and I'm not going to share who's on that panel, but I'm telling you right now, that panel alone is going to be worth the cost of admission. And I want to see you guys there. I want to shake your hands. I want to talk to you. And that is why we're holding Bedros Keuilian Live September 8th and 9th. So go to bedroskeuilian.com/live and register while you still can, because tomorrow we're sending this out to my entire email list. I'm pumping it out all over social media after this, and it is something that's going to sell out quickly, so you might as well get on board and show up and join us. And plus, Fuel Hunt's going to be there, Truline. We're going to be giving away a bunch of Truline stuff. You're getting a custom Bedros Keuilian shirt from Fuel Hunt for free, everyone who attends. So there's a lot of cool shit we're giving away, and of course, we're donating money. Part of the proceeds from Bedros Keuilian Live is going to Shriners Children's Hospital. So you're also doing a lot of good. We are doing good together. And so you've got no excuse to not come. Don't say, I'll come next year, I'll think about it, or whatever. It is the procrastinator who kicks the can down the road, and then tomorrow becomes next week becomes next month becomes next year, and you're still sitting in the same place while dudes like, I think it was Derek or others who, like, just in a matter of months, take action and then execute and then change their lives. And so I want you to come. I want you to find a way to get the money, to show up, and then I want you to take exactly what we teach you and execute that day. Like, we're going to teach you shit that you can execute that day on your social media, no matter how tiny your social media following is, to start making money, to start getting leads, to start getting more eyeballs, to start building a personal brand so that you can be a human of income, impact, and influence, because that is what we're here to do on this planet.
There we go.
All right. Do we have any more?
No super chats, but I do want to acknowledge 2 things. So Leo Yang wrote in the chat, he said, "Hey Bedros, I took your 6-week 26.2 challenge and ran my first ever marathon at the Rock and Roll Marathon in San Diego last Sunday. I couldn't believe I did it in such short time. Thank you so much."
Dude, first off, congratulations. Secondly, I did the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon too, and that was an awesome marathon to do. So good on you. And by the way, yeah, someone just said, yeah, Phil Heath too. Yes, Phil Heath, 7-time Mr. Olympia. Phil Heath is going to take the stage and share exactly with you the mindset of a champion. Right? The mindset of a champion, what it takes to be a champion year after year after year after year at the highest level of his sport, bodybuilding, 7-time Mr. Olympia. So, like, you could never get access to these humans for such a low price. No one is there to pitch anything to you. This is not one of those big pitches where every speaker is pitching something. I fucking hate those events. And so these are all my friends, and I've asked them to come and pour into. I would have them come and pour into my son and my daughter and my family. I've asked them to come and pour into you guys as well. And so that's what we're going to do for 2 days. Let's take a few non-super chat questions.
That's what I was looking through right now.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I had somebody that asked, he says, what do you think about the book? Or first of all, Zachariah Huckstep, shout out to you. He says, what do you think of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People? It wasn't on your list of books that you shared in the last video that you did.
Yeah, good question, right? So How to Win Friends and Influence People. Is it a good book? I think it's a good book. If there was a better book by, who the fuck wrote that? Oh, man. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Was that Carnegie?
It's Robert.
Is it Robert? Robert.
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, right? Dale Carnegie wrote that. It's not a bad book. But what I didn't want to do is create a list of like 25 books that everyone's got to read, right? So I wanted to keep it under 10, and that's what I did. Is How to Win Friends and Influence People a good book? Absolutely. Should you read it? Yes. Is there great lessons in it? Yes. But I believe the books that I shared with you guys on that episode, the 9 books, are more relevant for you. I would start with those 9 books, and then trust me when I say, like, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put up a post in the community, in my YouTube community post. I'm going to go, once you've read those 9 books, and I'll list them, you ought to read also these like 10, 15, 20 others as well. But those 9, I think, are fundamental. Those 9, I think, are crucial. And those 9, I think, you ought to read at least once a year.
Okay. Right on. Arnell says, can you backtrack to some super chats you missed, please? Thanks. I don't see any. So I have Alexander, who didn't have a question. And then I have Ashot, who we already addressed, but it's still here. Those are only 2 that I see. I don't know. You guys let me know.
If we missed any super chats, let us know. And guys in here, if you guys can see any super chats.
For sure. Yeah, I'm just trying to double check that I didn't miss anything. But as of right now, I don't see anything. You guys see anything that we might have missed? Any questions?
There's like 4 or 5.
Oh, really? Is there a way we can have them pop back up?
Arnell, Mr. Keuilian, how would you deal with abandonment, depression, and in general starting over alone at 41 in an unknown surrounding without any support system?
His name is Arnell.
Arnell.
Arnell wants to know how you would deal with depression, abandonment, and starting in a new area, right? At the age of 41.
With no support system.
With no support system. So I'm a big believer in what Jocko wrote in his book, Extreme Ownership. And my whole life, once I got my shit together, I would always prioritize and execute. So first of all, he named off several things. I would prioritize the highest thing, which is if I'm alone, I'm going to go find a tribe. So I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to go join jujitsu. Maybe I'm going to go and find a group of like-minded people to hang out with, because being alone is not good. When you insulate and isolate yourself, that leads to more of sadness, depression, anxiety, loneliness, and loss of hope. So first, do that. Secondly, you've been abandoned. I'm guessing someone left you. Your marriage is over. You have to restart. What do? You go back to, I think it's episode 2 or 3, which is get jacked and make more money, because I need you to fall in love with yourself, Arnell. I need you to stop feeling pity for yourself. I need you to stop feeling sorry for yourself. And I'm sorry that happened to you, brother, but that's the fucking human condition, man. People are fucked up. Out of the blue, they leave you. Out of the blue, they cheat on you. Out of the blue, they take on a crack habit. I met a young woman who was, who came up to me at an airport, and she goes, hey, I just want to let you know my husband died 4 weeks ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. What happened? Fentanyl overdose. And she started crying. Like that's abandonment.
Right.
He has an addiction, had an addiction. He died, he abandoned her, right? And so I said, what you can do now is honor his memory, honor him. Do you have a kid? Yes, I've got 2 kids. Honor your kids by getting in the best shape of your life, because when you get in shape, you are also using all those traits of good habits that we talked about: focus, discipline, consistency, delayed gratification. Start making more money. Throw yourself into making more money, because Arnell, it seems like you have more time on your hands right now. So throw yourself into making more money, because money allows you to help more people and become selfless. When we are feeling sorry for ourselves, when disaster happens, we've been abandoned, we get hurt, we start getting selfish. All selfish people end up going down the spiral of sadness, depression, anxiety, and hopelessness. Right. And so, Arnell, go out there and help people. Go find a soup kitchen every weekend and help out. Go find a young boys group and adopt a young boy from Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and adopt him and pour into him. Start working out, getting lean, getting jacked, start making more money, and find yourself a tribe to belong to. But prioritize the things that matter to you, and then start chipping them off quickly. Like, speed of implementation matters, because if you don't, the darkness only gets darker.
Yeah. And then Zach Hess and Jeff Rondon, they said they both sent super chats as well. Do you guys see Zach Hess on there? Yeah, Hess, Hess.
Yeah. For other young 20-something-year-old males and myself, what is a war room? What is your top 3 tips for constructing a war room?
For constructing a war room?
I think he's talking about,
Yeah, our war room is just a quiet conference room that has a refrigerator with all types of drinks in it, like refreshments, not alcohol. Like, it's got energy drinks for some of my clients who are into energy drinks. It's got obviously spring water, not just drinking water. I like spring water, sparklet spring water. It's got like Zevia, like the healthier colas. And then we've got healthy snacks up there in a little bowl, like, you know, whatever, cashews and pistachios and protein bars. And then a giant marker board and then a door so that we can not hear the outside noise. And that is the war room. That is where my teams meet. My leadership teams meet to solve through problems. That is where I meet with my coaching clients to execute on their goals. If you've seen me put up, I think right now in my stories on Instagram, there's a picture of me with a coaching client in the war room. And you could see the marker board behind me that I had to fuzz out because obviously his game plan for success is on that marker board. And I don't want to just expose that to the world. That's his game plan for success, but you can kind of see. But it's just a conference room with refreshments, with water. The bathroom is right across the hallway, and no one comes in there to bug us because that is very focused, intentional work we're doing to blueprint the most desired outcome for that specific client. What was their second? Did they have another question?
That was it. Just how would you construct one?
By hiring a contractor is how you construct one.
There we go.
I don't know. If you put up 4 walls and a fucking door.
There we go.
Right.
We also have Jeff Rondon too. I see there's another one from Paul. I'm going to get to that one. And then Juan, I see his. I'm going to answer his or ask you to answer his. Jeff Rondon, I can't see his though. Do you see his on there?
It just says slumps / flunk advice. Missed my first super, but I can't find anything else.
I don't know what that means. But anyways, shout out to Jeff Rondon for sending a super chat. We appreciate you.
Oh, somebody asked episode 5, be a gangster like Jesus. He said, what happened to him?
This is Paul, so let me give you context on Paul. Paul's
Okay.
coming to class 017 MDK in 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
So
coming
shout
to the
out Paul.
project.
And he's excited, man. We've been going back and forth on DMs on the project's Instagram, my Instagram. And he went to Masogi.
Nice.
And then also, I believe the first time I met Paul was at the Dana Point event. And so I tell you all this to say that a second ago when you said that people need to take action and just lean into immediate massive action and go and hang around these people and spend the time and do the things. Paul is one person that's doing it. He's been to almost all the events. So anyways, he wanted to know about what happened to in that story. Yeah, what happened?
Well, so if you guys listened to episode 5, I explained the story of Jesus. He made it like he made it the first 30 hours of the project, but he had hurt his eye, so we took him to the emergency room. And if you go listen to episode 5, you'll hear what happened next. What a fucking gangster of a man Jesus was. And so he's going to come back, I believe, class 17. I heard, I think Byron say that he's scheduled for class 18, October.
Okay, October, okay.
For October. So that's what's going to happen. And I can't wait to see Jesus go through the project and graduate this time around.
There we go. Awesome, man. Awesome. And then we had Juan. Where did it go? He says, my question for Uncle B is, what's the difference between motivation and inspiration?
Motivation is something that comes to you from the outside. Like motivation is almost like a dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. Inspiration is when I see what you're doing and I'm so inspired by it. Like you didn't say anything to pump me up and to gas me up. That is motivating me. To pump me up and gas me up is to motivate me. By me observing, watching what you're doing and like, oh my God, this guy got jacked in the last 9 months. Oh my God, this guy's got his life squared away. I'm inspired by you. Inspiration comes from within. Motivation comes from outside. Inspiration comes from within. Inspiration is like serotonin. So both dopamine and serotonin are the feel-good hormones, feel-good chemicals.
Right.
Dopamine is quick. It's quick and instant. You're scrolling, you get a lot of likes and comments. Ooh, dopamine hit. You snort some cocaine, you get a dopamine hit. You get your rocks off, you get a dopamine hit. Serotonin is you finished building a car in your garage over the last 8 months. That is serotonin. Like you stand back and you're like, I'm fucking proud of that. That is serotonin. Serotonin is saying, I got this idea for this, bringing the outdoor boot camp indoors and calling it Fit Body Boot Camp. And then 15 years later, you have hundreds of locations worldwide, right? That is serotonin, and I want serotonin. So inspiration comes from within, and it's longer lasting. Dopamine is motivation, comes externally, and as soon as you walk away from that person who was gassing you up, a day or two later, you're back to being the same goofball.
Back to normal. Got it. And then also Cody OK sent a super chat, so if you guys can look for that one while we're looking for that. National Bulwark Services says, hey Bedros, I started listening to you a few months ago. You've given me great hope in creating the 2.0 best version of myself.
Yeah.
I thank God for your existence, and meeting you is now on my bucket list. Well, now you can in September. So
There it is. There it is, Mr. National Bulwark Services. Looking forward to seeing you at BK Live. By the way, bedroskeuilianlive.com/live to join us September 8th and 9th in Costa Mesa, California. Looking forward to meeting you, my friend.
There we go.
All right.
Did you guys find Cody's?
Yeah, Cody OK says, I have a hard time being passionate and driven. I want a business, but nothing really interests me completely. How can a man discover his niche/passion?
All right, so Cody says, I have a hard time being passionate and driven. I can't find a business that I'm excited about. How can a man find his niche and his passion, right? So before you go starting a business, Cody, maybe what you ought to do is consider working for people that you like and respect, and see if you like doing sales, you like doing management, you like doing the marketing side of it, you like doing the leadership part of it. Sometimes you're not going to find what you're looking for early on. And by the way, your passion, your niche is not lost, so it's not something you find, it's something you develop. And you develop by experiencing things. Like I've worked in the food industry, I've worked I guess I've really worked in the food industry, in the service industry at Disneyland, customer service industry. And I realized, like, I love serving people. I also worked at a gay bar as a bouncer for a period of time, and I didn't like loud music, violence, and any of that stuff. So I was like, all right, that's not for me. I'm not going to open up a bar. It's not going to be my thing, but I really love making people's day. So I'm going to start creating businesses that transforms people's lives, right? And so I also had great mentors who I got to see, like Jim Franco was a great mentor. I saw what he did. He had a service business, and I saw how he treated his employees. And I was like, ooh, I like the part how he inspires and motivates his employees, but I don't like the part where he has to sit there and do the accounting. He would sit there with the accountants and do the accounting. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be an accountant. That looks boring, because he'd try and explain it to me, and I would just glaze over. So when you go work for someone that you like and respect, who has a business that you may be interested in, you might start developing interests in some area of that business: marketing, sales, leadership, management. And when you do, then you start going, oh, maybe I can create my niche in this one area. So understand that developing your purpose in your niche takes time, but you have to go experience many different gigs to see which ones you despise and hate, and which ones are like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I could see myself doing this for a period of time. And also, all of you should understand now that I'm on this side of my 30s, right? I'm 48, about to turn 49 next month, and then heading into 50. Well, guess what? Your purpose does change as you evolve and get older. Like when my kids were born, before my kids were born, I didn't mind traveling as much. I didn't mind traveling as much. As my kids were born, I started to travel less, because they were a large part of my purpose. I didn't want to miss them growing up. Now that they are so interactive with me, I travel even less. So I raised my prices on my speaking fee, so that when I'm asked to speak, it's $50,000 to speak and not $10,000 to speak, so that it's worth my time. Kind of like the potential speaking gig that I'm going to have there in Australia next year. I go, hey, how can I take them with me? Right? And so, your purpose changes. I never thought about doing anything like the Project or the Squire program. I was in it for fitness. I like the fitness business. I like helping people transform their bodies, because I know they transforms their mind. But as I got older, I realized that men are suffering in silence. I realized that young boys don't have a rite of passage into becoming men, healthy men. And I was like, ooh, that's a new calling. I feel called to do that at this age, with gray beard and more wisdom. I realized our country needs this. And so my passion and my purpose changed. And so understand that will always happen.
Here we go. Also, Ingram Fit Life, and I recognize the last name. I know who this is, but I can't remember his first name. But he said he also sent super chats. Do you guys see it? And by the way, just to give you a backstory on who this person is too, we also been having back and forth conversations via DM. He's also coming to the project in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And so, we got a couple people in here who are excited, man, to get thrown into the thunder with Steve.
$20.
Okay, cool. Appreciate your donation, man. We appreciate that.
Right on, man. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are just donating money, and this money's going 100% to Shriners. I'm going to match this money, even the wacky little euros and Canadian pesos and Mexican rubles and all that stuff. By the way, if you can't tell, I'm being funny and sarcastic, so don't try and correct me in the comments.
Like
it's not, it's not rubles, it's pesos. I get it. I have a dry sense of humor.
There we go. Alexander says, hey, I'm Alex from Battle Ready. Oh, it says, Alex from Battle Ready again. Just saying hi. I'm living proof that everything can change once you flip the switch. Purpose over pleasure all day.
Fuck yeah, purpose over pleasure all day. By the way, I saw someone post ask in the comment, is Wes Watson going to be there? Well, y'all know that Wes Watson and I did the High Performance Summit last year. Wes is a dear friend of mine, a homie. And I'm not going to tell you if Wes is going to be there, but I'm going to tell you a lot of people that you might be looking up to or looking towards and want to connect with will be at the Bedros Keuilian Live. And so September 8th and 9th, Bedros Keuilian Live, go to bedroskeuilian.com/live. And you can register for it. So some guests who are going to be speaking are on the site, and many guests who will be there are not on the site, and you will be surprised to meet them.
There we go. Alejandro says, hey, Bedros, my brother is 23, and he is deep in an MLM.
Multi-level marketing.
Okay.
Yep.
And I was wondering what's your thoughts on MLMs, and I care about him and want to help him, but don't want him to push me away. Also, thank you. You've changed my life.
First of all, thank you, brother. I appreciate the donation, and I appreciate you telling me I've changed your life. The biggest thing you can do now is pay it forward to others, and I know you will. Secondly, your brother's in MLM. I know plenty of people in multi-level marketing, whether it's Amway, whether it's Isogenics, whether it's World Financial Group, and they do well. If you are into it, you will do well. If you are not into it, if you're not one of those people that wants to go talk to your uncle and aunt and your brother and sister and your cousins and get them in on the thing, then you're not going to do well, right? So you have to know yourself, and once you know yourself, you'll know whether you're the type of person that could succeed at MLM or not. From what I've heard, and I don't know anything about Amway, but I've heard it's been around for dozens of years and it's a reputable organization. So if it works for him and he's truly going to work it and do that work, it's hard work, multi-level marketing, but man, you could build a downline and an income stream like no one's business.
Exactly.
You know, would I go out and do it? It's just not part of my personality. This is how I sell. I'm like, look, man, here's who I am. Here's what I have. I have supplements that are absolutely clean. I have a franchise that is just backed up by massive support, and success is inevitable as long as you do what we say. I have a coaching program that works. Like, I just talk about what I have, and I know I charge a premium for it, but the service is through the roof and the support is through the roof, and people go, hey, I want the best. I'm going to work with Bedros and I'm going to get the outcome. So I'm not the guy that's going to go knock on 100 doors and do that, but that doesn't mean that MLM doesn't work. It won't work for me because I won't work it.
Right. There we go. Guys, by the way, are we all caught up on Super Chats? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody.
There was a few more. There's
Okay.
one more. It says, B, I'm a father of a 1.5-year-old boy with a baby on the way. Any advice for maintaining sleep and routine in that situation?
You can't.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna
It's your
have you know what? I'm gonna have Leighton answer this.
Let
right?
me tell you about this, man.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I really sleep when they sleep if you can, but then it's hard because once they go to sleep, then you're like, well, finally they're down. Let me go and get this done and get that done and that done. Then by the time you finish that task, then they're awake again. So it's gonna be some tough times for a couple months, man. But just know that it will come to an end. That they'll start to sleep through the night, and you'll get you'll get better sleep. Well, it might not be quite the same because maybe they'll, like you said, they'll have diarrhea at night, or they'll throw up, or they have a nightmare, or whatever the case is, or maybe they just have an off, what's the thing I'm looking for? Like they have like setbacks,
Oh, yeah.
So where they were sleeping good for a little while, and then now they can't for some reason. So, anyways, man, just know for like 6 months or so, it's just how it's gonna be. It's how it goes.
That's the cool thing about it is like, hey, congratulations, but it's only for a finite amount of time, a few months, right? Like less than a year. And like with Andrew, when my son was born, he was awake like every hour and a half throughout the night.
Damn.
We thought it was going to be the same with Chloe. Chloe would sleep like in 4-5 hour chunks.
Yeah.
And so, man, maybe this little dude is going to sleep through the night. Maybe he's not. More likely that he's not.
Right.
And you've got a little dude on the way now, and he might sleep through the night. He may not, but
I hope so. Not counting on it, but I hope so.
Whatever it is, you're just going to power through it because it's only for a period of time. And if you look at it as a challenge, like your own project, like your own misogi, then you start welcoming it. And let me give you guys an example of that. And then we got to start wrapping this up soon since I got to go upstairs and do some coaching calls with my coaching clients. But what was it? About 4 weeks ago, I was going to fly from Ontario, California, to North Carolina to speak at an event. the Fit Body Bootcamp Mastermind that Bryce, my CEO, was running. And I was one of the speakers at this mastermind in North Carolina. Well, my flight got delayed because someone on the flight as it was coming in had died, so they had to reroute the plane. And by the time the plane got in, it was supposed to be at 7 a.m., then it was 10 a.m. Next thing you know, it's 3 p.m., and I'm finally boarding the plane to go to North Carolina. This particular flight was going to land me in Atlanta, and then Atlanta I was going to connect for a short flight to North Carolina. Well, guess what? When you board your plane here in California at 3 p.m., by the time you get to Atlanta, there's no more flights left to North Carolina. So they're like, hey, sir, we'll put you up at a hotel. I'm like, look, I don't need a hotel. I need to get to North Carolina because tomorrow morning I speak, and it's already midnight in Atlanta. So I text Joan. Joan's my assistant. I'm like, Joni, here's what's going on. I'm stuck in Atlanta. I don't want to stay at a hotel. She goes, do you want me to fly you back? I said, no, don't fly me back. I need you to find me a rental car. She finds me a rental car. She texts me where to go. I go and get the rental car, and I drive through the night, 5.5 hours from Georgia through South Carolina into North Carolina and get to Charlotte with 2.5 hours to spare. Catch a quick workout to wake myself up, shower, check into my hotel and shower, and then go across the street to the other hotel to speak. And so as I was driving through the night, the inner conversation was like, dude, you own Fit Body Bootcamp. That's your CEO running the event. You can just text Bryce and be like, hey, man, can I speak 8 hours from now, like later in the afternoon? Just put another couple speakers ahead of me so I can get some sleep. Better yet, how about I'm just going to fly home, Bryce, because a disaster happened. Now I got to rent a car, drive 3 states. I'm like, don't be a bitch, bro. Told myself, don't be a bitch. Just drive through these 3 states and speak. And then as I'm driving, I'm like, you know what? This is like my own personal project. I'm just going to project this shit. And so I'm going through, I'm like, and literally halfway through as I'm falling asleep and I'm biting on my tongue and I'm sticking my hand out the window, all these little tricks to stay awake. I'm like, I hope I get a flat tire. Because I haven't changed a flat tire for like 20 some odd years. I hope I get a flat tire in a state that I'm not familiar with in the middle of the night because I'm curious how I'm going to respond or react, right? At that point, like the human animal and human being, we're having a conversation. Right. And so the point of this is, man, you're going to love having a son. That's a given, but you're going to project through that shit and just look at it as a personal challenge, and you'll get to the other side of it just like every other human has.
This is true. This is true. All right, so the last couple ones real quick. Cody's just saying thank you. Cody OK sends another super chat. It says, thank you for your response all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii. I would love to see a gym of yours down here one day. So
yes,
shout out to
thank
Cody.
you, Cody. Appreciate it, brother.
And then shout out to Tyler Birdie. Sent in a nice super chat. Generous super chat. Appreciate you and your mission B.
Thank you so much, Tyler. By the way, Tyler is the guy who builds all of our websites. So when you go to bedroskeuilian.com, when you go to my YouTube page, bedroskeuilian.com/podcast or bedroskeuilian.com/live for the live event. Tyler's the web developer out of Canada who builds all these high converting pages. So there you go, Tyler. Appreciate you, and you do awesome work for us, man. Thank you, and appreciate the donation.
Awesome. And as we're wrapping up, the last one says from Lupe. Oh, wait, this is the same Lupe that graduated. I can't tell. I'm trying to look at that at their picture. Anyways, it looked like a project grad. If not, no worries. They said, "Hey B, are there any plans to do the Misogi after?" Wait, sorry. Again. I'm trying to figure out after the first weekend of the year. Okay, so multiple times a year. After doing it this year on my B day, a lot of things started to manifest in my life. Okay, so this is someone who came around.
Yes, yeah. So Lupe, we are going to do another Misogi class beginning of 2024. We might even do one right around October, maybe November of 2023. So stay tuned. As long as you're on my email list or you follow me on the social medias, we'll let you know. But definitely the first or second week of 2024, we'll be doing a Misogi out there on my ranch in Temecula. For sure.
Thank you guys for you guys keep sending the super chats. And I know you have to get off in a second, but I don't know how you want to.
Let's knock them out, man. Okay. My clients are cool.
Knock these last 2 out.
Stop sending money, folks.
I know. Slow it down. It's going crazy. We appreciate it, but we're trying to get through these. So thank you guys. So anyways, Chris Trammell says, thank you for sharing your life's work. Thank you for sharing. Life work is the best work. I go live in 30 minutes, and I'm totally inspired by what you shared. I'd love to host you one day.
Appreciate it, man. I'd love to be on your show one day, so thank you so much. When you reach out to me via DMs, Leighton will connect with you, and if it works out, I'd love to be on your live with you Appreciate it.
There we
All
go.
right, one of my fellow Armenians here, Ashot,
Yeah.
donated $20. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
He says, I don't know if you can see the message. He says, just got my Bedros Keuilian live ticket. See you guys soon. God bless.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
So shout out to the people that are action takers. and
That's
not
right.
Waiting. Yep.
That's right. Already,
Real.
you guys are buying tickets already. I'm telling you, this thing's going to sell out quick. Brother, can't wait to see you out there. It's going to be an awesome time. And earlier I saw a post. Someone said, hey, are you coming out to Australia? It's not for sure yet because this big organization is looking to hire me and to have me speak in the 3 big states or provinces, Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. So if it works out, what is it, summer of 2024, I think? So if it all works out, summer of 2024, I may be in Australia. And if I am, I'll be announcing that for all my Australian friends. I'd love to meet you guys and see you guys. And also I'll let you guys know how to get tickets to that event for sure.
There we go. Shout out to Snez in Australia. All right. Anyways, thanks, B. It was a great time.
Yeah,
we
man.
appreciate all of you guys liking the video, sharing the link with anybody, just watching and asking your questions. We appreciate it. It's always a good time getting together and going live.
Yeah, guys, this has been a meaningful experience for me. I love going live, and I love the fact that you guys all contribute and donate money through the Super Chat so that we can give money to Shriners Children's Hospital. Every single penny that you guys donate, I match, and then we donate. Joan, my assistant, sends to Shriners Children's Hospital, and it's because of you. We're helping kids. We're helping change the trajectory of this planet. I can't wait to see you guys at Bedros Keuilian Live on September 8th and 9th in Costa Mesa, California. So go ahead and register for that at bedroskeuilian.com/live. And also, I want you to remember this, that average is the enemy, that success is your responsibility, and change can truly take place in an instant if you decide to flip the switch. Thank you so much, guys. Peace out.
Cut.
Yeah.
Cool.